Hello, students. This is Dr. Joseph again. I'm here to address some important issues about the topic, what is a literary analysis? This is the second part, okay, of this conversation about what is a literary analysis. And I want to provide some tips about writing your research paper about literary analysis. Remember, in this class, we write three essays. This is the first one we are writing, okay? Now, the essay itself, there should be a title, okay? Just like as a human being, you have a name. Your parents, whoever has named you, you have a name. For example, my name is Selucien. My last name is Joseph. So I have a name. Your essay must have a name. A title. The title of the essay should correspond to the idea or the concept or the theme you are investigating in the essay. The essay should have a good title that gives direction of the general message or the argument to be addressed in it. The second item you're going to have is the introduction. Remember, when you write an introduction, the goal of an introduction is to provide a general perspective or to offer an overview of the subject, of the topic to be analyzed in the essay. So you start from the general, from some general ideas, and you're gonna get particular, okay? As you move, you evolve in the essay itself. So you want to make sure your introduction includes a thesis statement. Remember from 1301, your thesis statement is the claim that you are making or the position, okay, that you are expressing, you are articulating in the essay itself. You must also remember that when you write an introduction, the introduction is not actually the space for you to provide detailed commentaries to cite sources. Rather, we're talking about the primary text, A Good Man is Hard to Find, for example, or secondary scholarly sources you have found. You don't do that in the introduction, okay? You don't do a careful examination in the introduction. So the introduction itself should be about 5 to 6 full grammatical sentences. I always tell my students a paragraph should be about 5 to 6 full grammatical sentences. This is very important, not just the introduction, but every paragraph you will be writing should be 5 to 6 full grammatical sentences. So remember I mentioned the thesis statement, right, should be placed at the very end of your introduction, okay? It's not placed at the beginning or in the middle of the introductory paragraph. It is found at the end. So the last sentence in your introduction should be your thesis statement. So again, as I mentioned before, the thesis statement makes a claim, it asserts a position, it makes a value judgment on what the essay is about. In other words, you will express your position, your claim, okay, whichever theme you have chosen. For example, it could be grace, or you are exploring the relationship between grace, good and evil in this story. Now, remember, the thesis statement should not be broad or vague. It should not be a question or a citation from a text or from a person, from a famous person. A thesis statement is a statement. It's a declaration. It's not a question. It is not a citation. You're going to use your own words and language to articulate the thesis statement. Okay? Remember, the thesis statement expresses one big idea, not two major ideas, not three major ideas, but one in one sentence. This is very important. Let's talk about perspective. I mentioned in the first part of these instructional videos that you do not write in the first person. You do not use I, my, me, or mine, or you do not write in the second person perspective using you, your, yours. Unless you are writing a narrative essay, which is not your task, you should be writing in the third person perspective. Okay? Now, you need to indent the first sentence that introduces the paragraph and justify the entire text. I want to talk about the structure of the paragraph. This is extremely important. Everything I'm telling you here could be found in the very detailed long document that I posted under required materials. Okay? And everything I'm telling you here is also found in this paper. What is a literary essay? Which I also posted online. Let's talk about the structure of the paragraph. This is one of my favorite items to teach to students, especially in 1301 and 1302. Because my passion for you is to be a strong writer. Not just to be a strong writer, but an effective writer. Not just an effective writer, but a writer in whom, right? I take pleasure. When I read your text, your essay, I want to take pleasure. Your text, your story, whatever, your essay should be a delight to me. So I want to spend a few minutes to talk about the structure of the paragraph. So a good paragraph should be about 5 to 4 grammatical sentences. Usually the paragraph of a literary analysis, that means an English essay, begins with a topic sentence. Remember, in 1301, you have learned what a topic sentence is. A topic sentence is the very first sentence in the paragraph, the sentence that begins or that introduces the paragraph. It makes a claim for the paragraph itself. You should never begin a paragraph with a question or with a citation. You always begin a paragraph with a topic sentence. The topic sentence is your work, your own word, one sentence. Okay? It should focus on the idea the paragraph itself will address. Remember, when you write in an essay, for example, each paragraph should begin with an idea, right? That means the first sentence should introduce an idea. Let's say you are writing a 5-paragraph essay. Each paragraph begins with idea. So you have 5 different ideas, for example, that take the reader back to the big idea, what we call thesis statement. Okay? Now, remember, when you write a paragraph, okay, you need to provide pieces of evidence. So after you introduce your topic sentence, the next thing you're going to do, you're going to quote the text. What I'm talking about? I'm talking about a good man is hard to find. So you are citing from that text to support the topic sentence that you introduce at the beginning of the paragraph. Okay, so write out full sentences to substantiate your claim. So you provide supporting details. This is very important. When you see, I always tell my students, look, when you're writing an essay, I want you to position yourself as an instructor, as a teacher. Okay, technically or practically, I should say, what you're doing is to teach a subject in a theme found in a text. So when you cite, okay, so that's gonna be your next, the next thing your next task. You're gonna provide supporting details. So do not just cite a text or a page and then you move on. Your goal is to explain whatever you citing after your topic sentence. You have a responsibility as a teacher is to explain what that citation entails, what it means to your student, excuse me, or your audience. I'm one of your students. You're writing to me. The next thing you're going to do, you're going to use outside sources. So you use an outside source to substantiate your topic sentence or the idea that you introduce in the topic sentence. So the sources in the works cited page should be cited or named in the essay itself. Now, let me say this quickly. For every paragraph, listen to me carefully, I want you to cite a source. That means you can cite the same source multiple times. Remember, for this essay, you need a minimum of 2 sources, okay? I want you, if you do not cite an outside source in a paragraph, I want you to engage, to interact with the story. You're going to engage, you're going to interact with the story in all your paragraphs. This is the mark of a good literary analysis. Remember, I mentioned you're going to explain the source. So when you introduce your outside source to support your topic sentence or the idea of the topic sentence, you are explaining to the reader what the meaning of the quote, paragraph, or summary from the outside source. So I want you to be able to analyze it cogently. Now, analyze it, break it down, tell me what it means. Don't just quote the text, cite the text, or introduce a paragraph, then you move on. No, your goal is to analyze, to interpret, and to have a conversation with your reader. That's what you're doing. So remember, you are interpreting. Your goal is as an interpreter is to guide the reader to understand the subject matter you are introducing. Let me say a few things to bring this to a close. Do not use run-on sentences. You need to rewrite you need to take your time. Even in the rough draft, do not just, oh, this is just a rough draft. Dr. Joseph will understand. I want you to take your time to write well, okay? A run-on sentence is a fragmented sentence. That is not good. So for example, a sentence with no subject, no verb, okay, no direct object or indirect object is a fragmented sentence. I don't want to see any fragmented sentences. Remember, your format and style is the MLA, okay? So your outside sources, scholarly sources, okay? So make sure you include a works cited page, okay? And at the very end, this is going to be the final page of your essay. Make sure your essay includes a conclusion. A conclusion should reiterate the overall argument you made in the essay. It should stress the significance of the ideas first, the major idea, which is the thesis statement, and the connecting ideas, which the reader will find in your paragraphs. I hope that was very helpful, and I will be posting a third instructional video. I'm going to give you an overview about the text itself, the story, A Good Man is Hard to Find. I hope that was very helpful to you.